Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Hi.
For the fourth time. Welcome to Couple Chat. I'm Matt.
I'm Jackie, and this is Nate with his new Santa hat.
Yay! We all have new Santa hats.
Yeah.
Thanks to her mama.
Yeah.
She,
And Callus back there.
yes. Oh, yes, and Kel's back there. But yeah, she made these for us and sent them for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And we figured we'd show them off today, especially since Mando just ended. Whew, Mando. Lorian. Season 2.
Right.
We're not going to talk about it today because today we're talking family traditions.
Right.
But we will be talking about it next week, right before the new year. That will be our couple chat that ends the year. Pretty great for two nerdy parents.
Especially with new Star Wars
Yes.
Santa hats.
One last hurrah with them before the holiday season ends.
Yeah.
But yeah, so today we're discussing holiday traditions. And also, if you're over on Instagram, you get a little behind the scenes look on what we're doing today. Obviously, Couple Chat is on all platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch,
Instagram.
and Instagram, obviously. So yeah, we're on 4 platforms live right now. You guys can check us out wherever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Christmas Spectacular number 4, the final. Let's talk holiday traditions.
Sure.
So, would you like to go through the holiday a little bit? We'll start with like Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's the plan.
She's got more solid traditions than I do. Unfortunately, I do come from a divorced family, for those who don't know me. So, unfortunately, traditions have changed. But we're all good now.
All for the better.
Yeah.
So, when I was a kid, leading up to Christmas Eve and on Christmas Eve, there was a lot of, cleaning around the house and decorating and helping Dad put up the lights. That was one of my favorite parts, was helping my dad put up the Christmas lights. Because it got so grand at one point that he had lights going around the entire perimeter of the house, which was really cool, because the power was in the back and there's also power in the front. So he would run it along the whole door frame, all the windows in the front and the back, on the sides, and all around the house. Just like a really nice solid line of colored bulbs. And I always remember helping him and testing the strands and things like that. So it was really fun for me as a preteen teenager, because I would help him around those years, because when you're a kid, you're a little too small to be playing with glass and wires and that kind of stuff, and ladders. But it was cool for me to be able to like have that time with my dad, to bond with him. And also my parents, they worked split shifts. So what I mean by that is, my dad would get up really early in the morning to work his regular plumbing hours till like 5:30, and then my mom would leave at 5:30 to go to her job, which was 6 to 3 a.m. So they never really got to see each other, but at the same time, we were always being tucked in by Dad, and we were always being woken up by Mom. Actually, we were always being woken up by Dad and tucked in by Dad. Mom, if she tucked us in or if she woke us up, something was wrong, because she only had about 2 hours of sleep at that point, or she never went to sleep. So if Mom woke you up, it was a bad thing. Or if you had to wake up Mom, it was even worse. But anyway, I digress. Christmas time, we had this book. It was, classic Christmas stories. And my dad, while he would brush our hair out and get us ready for bed at night, he would actually read those stories to us. And we'd read a story, every night before Christmas Eve. And that was really cool. That was kind of like our bedtime thing. It stopped when we got a little older, but it's funny because I found the book when I was at my parents' house a few months ago, and I actually have started reading it to Nate. We're on the fourth story, something like that. But, I kind of want to carry that over for Nate when he's a kid. Just like reading him stories and getting him excited for Christmas time. But yeah, that was really like the whole month of December. Also, the day after Thanksgiving, we usually would go to my Aunt Patty's house. She would throw Thanksgiving at her house, and then the day after, we would all go back for like sandwiches and hors d'oeuvres and things like that. And we decorate her apartment, her condo. We would decorate her tree and kind of kick off the Christmas season there. So that's a cool tradition that we did. Which actually, that was one of my favorites as a kid from what I remember. Because I remember Thanksgiving being there. And the decorating the tree kind of like meshed in with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would sit around the table as kids and like circle the circulars and write out our Christmas list that day, Christmas time. Because then, the parents on Black Friday could go out and shop and do all that. So that's just kind of the kickoff tradition that we would do for Christmas that I really, really remember and think back on fondly.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that was everything leading up to Christmas Eve. Did you have anything? Oh, and we would get a real tree. We always had a real tree. We never had a synthetic or a packaged one. We would always go and pick one. We didn't cut them down, but we went to a farm and
this isn't Christmas vacation.
One. No. But there are farms like that, which are cool. I would like to try that one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are my before Christmas Eve traditions. Sorry.
No, that's fine. For us, the only thing that, and I don't know if it's a memory or just something I know I have a picture of, but, my mom and I would make Christmas cookies at some point before Christmas Eve. Usually the long tube that you get, the Pillsbury ones, and you cut them up, and it was fun to do as a kid. Simple. You don't have to do anything like crazy, like actually make the batter or anything like that. Which, for a boy, it's probably a little much.
Yeah.
But we did that. We didn't have like crazy traditions like you guys. And again, I was too young to like help my dad with decorations. There was one point in like my teens where I helped him a couple times with his new house, but didn't really do that much. And I really don't have much that we did beforehand. That's okay. We're making new traditions now.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I'm sure, again, we haven't gotten around to figure out the comments.
I was going to say,
but
we can't see your comments if you are watching on Facebook or Twitch or YouTube. We can see Instagram.
We can't read the comments.
It's far away.
Right now. But
I can try and see who's writing one. We promise we are going to try and figure it out for the new year. It's just been a lot on our plates with this holiday season and everything that's going on. But we are trying to figure it out. Hey, if anyone has any tips that they can even give us, like if you know how to do this or fix this, please just shoot us a message or comment below. It's fine. We are okay with any help that you are able to give. But yeah, as you said, we're trying to make our own traditions.
Right. So I can talk about some of ours that we've started building.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So with my family, we never got a real tree. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that was just a thing that they both grew up with. They never got real trees. But, we had a synthetic tree. But I remember it being pretty bombastic, not like this little inky-dinky tree that we kind of have. But, we're doing our best right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so traditions that Jackie and I have started prior to the holidays. So we mentioned a little bit last week. December 17th is the day we got together. So that has become a tradition that we've carried over probably starting in, I think it was 2011, our third anniversary.
Yeah.
And we've literally gone to the city every year, except this year, We did it virtually, though, right?
We did. It was so cool.
Yeah, she'll have to tell you about that. But
yeah.
But basically, every December 17th or around that date, we go to the city. We see a show, we see a movie, we stay the night most of the time, and of course we go to Rockefeller. We take in the Christmas spectacle that is New York City at this time of year, and we don't get to go that often to the city, so it's a great time of year to be able to see it, and yeah, that's become a tradition of ours. And then I mean, other traditions, the weekend after Thanksgiving is when we do our decorating. So that's pretty much become our tradition.
Yeah.
After Thanksgiving, it's, of course my doing, but at the same time, I like it this way because it's something that's consistent, and now it's kind of been just part of us.
Yeah.
So that weekend, we set up our decorations.
That's Sunday.
Yeah, it's usually
Saturday. We usually have your mom.
Right. Saturday, Thanksgiving with my family. Then that's Sunday, which is what we did this year.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't go anywhere, as you guys probably already know. But yeah, so that Sunday we set up our decorations. We have our own little village, which for me, when I was a kid, I remember, so I guess I can recall a few traditions. And my mom did this even after my parents separated. She had a manger and a huge village, and I'm sure she still does it today, but always we had this sectional couch that had a little spot in the middle, and she would put the whole village and everything there in the manger and whatever. And then I remember another spot in our old house where she put another village, or maybe it was part of that same village, but whatever. But that was like a tradition that we always had. That again, she continued that when it was just her and I, and then my stepdad came into it. That's something she's always had, and I'm sure the pieces that she has for this village are old. No offense, Mom, but yeah. So Jackie and I started building our own village. Yeah. We've slowly gotten pieces, and we started out with things from the dollar store because back in the day, Dollar Tree had their own village pieces, and they were actually not too bad.
I mean, they're still here.
Yeah.
Like,
they're ceramic,
The ceramic houses, the store, the grocery, and the school, they're all dollar store.
Well, but we've expanded, over the years. We keep building onto this village, and, we have more stuff now. We have a clock tower. Jackie puts my Back to the Future DeLorean ornament there because it's a bit too heavy for our tree, but it also fits nicely in the village. I like that she puts it there.
We put a tree on the top of it.
Oh, yeah.
You guys will see it.
She ties a tree on the top of it.
We tie a tree to the top of it. It's pretty funny.
Like Doc and Marty are going to put up their Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But yeah, in our vlog, you'll see all that, us setting up for the holiday season. And then, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the big traditions that you and I have started pre-Christmas. And I mean, we just recently, I tried to start doing the cookie thing that my mom and I shared. Didn't turn out the way I wanted to this year, but it's okay.
We ate them. That's all that matters.
And they were delicious.
They were delicious. We ate the whole box in one sitting.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a crazy amount.
No, it was just 10.
5 each, but
10.
little cookies, like this big.
Sure.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing now.
Yeah.
That's the tradition.
Then we've also started to watch Christmas movies a lot earlier.
That's a pre-Christmas tradition,
We just started doing that with Nate. Like, yeah, the weekend before Christmas, we would try and watch a movie here and there.
Right, we would marathon movies with friends. Right. That was what we used to do.
Yeah.
At least a weekend, sometime before Christmas. Sometimes the weekend before. We'd all literally. We would set up a Facebook group and have like 5 movies, and we'd all vote on them and choose which ones we'd want, and then it would narrow it down to probably like 3, because you could do 3 in a nice sitting with friends.
Yeah.
And that's what we would do. And eventually our friends moved, they had families, and now we have a family. So now we're doing our own thing, which pretty much has just been we've watched a movie a night, somewhat,
Give or take.
up until now.
Depends on how cranky Nate can get.
Yeah. He's a little too young right now to watch like a full movie sitting down.
Yeah.
There are some things where he's like, oh. But, you know, I mean, he gets distracted or doesn't really find interest in, especially live action right now. So we started with the animated movies first. And those kind of got him, but again, a little too young. But it's cool. That's something that we will always do throughout our lives. So yeah, that's a tradition too, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think so.
Cool. So let's move on to the first part of the big event.
So Christmas Eve. What's funny is when I was a kid, some of the time, from what I remember, we wouldn't get our tree until Christmas Eve. And it was like race against the clock. Gotta get this thing decorated.
Oh, the ornaments and lights.
It's all
and
down.
stuff.
It's all out of like the storage in the attic.
Still, like,
but it's not put up yet.
yeah, that's a lot to do on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, there was one time where I think I had like a concert or something, and we weren't home. But my brother Mike and his friends decorated the tree, and we were finding bottle caps in the tree, like on Little Christmas, like January 7th, from how many bottle caps his friends just like kind of tossed in there, and like, yeah,
Okay.
it's just something I remember about the one time that my brother and his friends decorated the tree. They did a good job. It's just, it's like they took all their bottle caps and just like threw them away in the tree. It was interesting.
Okay.
There were a couple bottles on the ends of the branches too. It was funny. But yeah, I mean, there were so many moments where I remember getting the Christmas tree way late because we just ran out of time. But my parents always have had a real tree. My dad has always cut off the stump in the backyard right before, putting it in the sugar water, and then bringing it inside, putting it in this beautiful Lenox tree stand that they have that looks like a snowflake. Oh, it's intense.
And again, like, I was too young to even know, like, if my mom and dad had this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
Maybe they did, and I'm sure they have ornaments that they've had for a very long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. And I would think that they split the ornaments or whatever the case is. But speaking of ornaments and speaking of, you guys getting your tree late, there's another tradition that you and I have kind of been doing since the day we met almost.
Yeah.
So Jackie and I I don't know if you talked about this in one of our other couple chats, but I'll just reiterate.
Yeah.
We weren't supposed to get each other any gifts.
No.
For our first year, because I mean we were only dating for like a week.
8 days. We were dating 8 days.
But I felt bad. Like, I wanted to get her something. So I got her an ornament. And it's an ornament that we've carried with us our entire relationship and our lives up to this point. And it's on our tree right now. If you guys saw our story earlier for Couple Chat, you actually can see the ornament is above to the right of our family ornament that we got this year. But the big reason why we made that our Couple Chat story is because that's a huge tradition of ours, and that was the beginning, and now where we are today, 12 years later. We get an ornament, at least one, every year to represent that year in some way, shape, or form. It's never, let's get the same ornament over and over and over again. No, it's always something that represents that year.
Right.
And I think that's really cool. I don't know how other people get ornaments, but I think it's cool that your tree evolves over time. It's not just, let's just buy a bunch of ornaments and put it on the tree. Yeah, we have the normal, like, balls and stuff like that. Like, yeah, those things are fine. You can have however many you want. But the things that mean something, I like that each of them have a story, and they've come over the years, not just, let's just buy a bulk of them and put them on the tree. Like, this year we have that family ornament that shows we are now a family.
Yeah.
And I got her a sun ornament that has Nathan's name written on it. So I did get 2 this year. And I mean, last year we got a ton because Jackie had people make ornaments for her. She has a bunch of baby bump ornaments on there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but it's cool. They each represent the year.
But we still got our own last year. We got right? We bought one?
I don't remember.
Actually, I don't think we bought it. I think someone else bought it for us.
I don't remember. We'd have to take a look. But for the most
We'd
part...
have to do a tour of our tree, remember?
Yeah.
Or a tour of our pictures.
But for the most part, we get one ornament a year to represent what's going on that year, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And that's a tradition that will keep going forever.
I think we got the parents to be one.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
We got the parents to be one, and it says Jackie on one side,
Yep.
Matt on the other, and 2020 in the middle.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. So
Anything else on Christmas Eve that you guys do?
Christmas Eve. So my mom cooks for Christmas Day because we have craziness on Christmas Day, which I'll talk about later. But Christmas Eve was her kind of last minute stuff. And she's just trying to like catch up and do all her last minute shopping for the food and for presents. And for a long time, we were having dinner at my grandmother's house. And we would get simple things. We would get pizza or Chinese food.
Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve. Because it wasn't meant to be this big whole thing.
Yeah.
We were going to see my grandmother the day of Christmas anyway. But we had nothing to do Christmas Eve. So it was just like, okay, this is kind of like our wind down, our chill out couple hours. Spend some time with grandma. You know, we'd play Rummy Cube. We'd play with her train under her tree because my grandmother went all out. She had a cool village. She has this train that goes all the way around the village. Oh my God, it's so cool. I haven't seen it in years because she has no one to decorate for. No one goes there on Christmas Eve anymore, unfortunately. But it's just, you know, it was one of those things as a kid. I just remember going to her house for Christmas Eve, like I said, for pizza or Chinese food. And then, yeah. And then that night after, we would go back to my house. We would get ready in our pajamas, and my Aunt Patty would come over. And in order to keep us in our rooms, Aunt Patty would sleep in our room with us. Because Kelsey and I had a habit of staying up late. I had a habit of staying up really, really late because I'd wait till Mom got home. Well, you know...
Jackie also has a habit of getting up really late.
Excuse me.
What?
Not on Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's the only day.
Exactly. The important day that you need to wake up at a reasonable hour.
Sure. Sure.
Excuse me.
Anyway.
Sorry. So my Aunt Patty, she would stay over and just, you know, when we would go to sleep, sneak out, do what she had to do, and then
corral the cattle.
yeah, or the sheep. But yeah, so that was Christmas Eve always, every year. Aunt Patty would stay over. And so it got to the point, she was telling me the other day, it got to the point where we would kick her and bother her so much that she would rather sleep in her own bed and come back like super early, like before we even started opening presents. So she would leave when we got older. But when we were kids, it was great because my mom could focus on meals and other things that she was working on.
Wrapping gifts.
Till
like 2 in the morning.
My mother wraps gifts till about 5:30 the day of Christmas Day.
Really?
Yes, because what she'll do is she'll forget she had a present for someone, or she'll finally find it in like the mess of everything and take a bag that she used in the morning for somebody else and relabel it. Or she'll, like I said, she'll find it and then she'll get a piece of wrapping paper and wrap it really quick and give it to that person. Yeah, my mom's always finding stuff years down the road, like, oh, this was a Christmas gift for so-and-so, I forgot, I couldn't find it then, and then you find it down the road. It was pretty funny, but, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, our Christmas Eve was quite different from theirs, and this I remember because it was always a big event for us. So, Christmas Eve is when we saw our extended family. And we were always the hosts, it seemed. People would come to our house, originally in Queens, and then eventually it moved to New Jersey. Maybe when we were in Queens, we were going to my aunt's house, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
I think
Mom,
you were.
I'm sure you will comment on this later, but I thought it was ours or maybe my aunt and uncle's. But anyway, when we moved to New Jersey, everyone started coming to us. I'm not sure how long that lasted, but yeah, I remember it being a really cool, huge tradition because our entire extended family would take the trip out there Christmas Eve, and they would come and see us all. And that's where the big feast would be. You know, I'm not sure exactly what would happen on Christmas, but Christmas Eve is when we'd have a big feast. And we're mixed. We're not strictly Italian or Irish or whatever, so it's not like we have the 7 fish or, you know, potatoes and whatever Irish people do on Christmas. But,
We eat potatoes on Christmas.
yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm
What
just
does that
imagining,
mean?
let's have corned beef and cabbage
Definitely,
and potatoes.
No.
Anyway, so we never had like a specific cultural tradition. I guess it was mixed just like we were, you know, and so we had a bunch of different types of meals, pretty much the same thing as Thanksgiving. So if you watched our Thanksgiving food episode, all that stuff was pretty much carried over to Christmas. I really don't think there was anything specific Christmas that my mom or my dad would make differently, but they had the recipe. Like everything that my parents make today, whether it's on my mom's side or my dad's side, pretty much my mom and dad developed those together, except a few things like the fried cauliflower is a family tradition that has been going on for generations, I guess, because my grandfather made it when he was hosting holidays back when my family was young, my mom was younger. But anyway, so yeah, our entire extended family would come down. We'd have gifts. We'd all open gifts, you know, between the family, not like each family would have their gifts to open. No, it would be like gifts to the cousins, gifts to the uncles and aunts and whatever.
Right.
And
Gift
then,
exchange.
yeah,
Normal.
but not between family.
Right.
Immediate family, I mean.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, that would be our Christmas Eve. And I remember those days a lot, especially because, you know, our family's not very close anymore, unfortunately. Everybody's moved in so many different locations. Most in the Carolinas now. And maybe they do have new traditions, I'm sure they do. They're building their own families, but that tradition is kind of gone now, unfortunately. And you know, I don't know if it's because my family separated or parted, but I always loved that because I used to be really close with my cousins and, you know, especially my cousin Tony Ann, wherever you are out there, her and I were really close. And, you know, Christmas Eve was an awesome time of the year because that would be like one of those days that I'd get to see her and hang out with, you know, all my cousins, and I don't know, we had good times back then. So, but it's a bit different now.
Yeah.
Our Christmas Eve together, we do things completely different. So with her family, we see them on Christmas, which we'll get to.
Yes.
But with my family, we see my mom and my stepdad and my brother and sister-in-law on Christmas Eve. For a while, my sister came as well with her family, but eventually they moved out of state. So now they live in Maryland, so they don't come around as much as they used to. We do miss them, but they used to come to Christmas Eve as well. And that's been our tradition since before Jackie came around.
Well, it's funny because the first time I met your sister was at Christmas Eve.
Yeah, the first time you met my whole family was at Christmas Eve.
Yeah, well, except your dad. I didn't meet your dad.
No, you met him on New Year's.
Right. But it's just funny how that was the first time.
Is that ours? Uh-oh. There's another baby that lives downstairs. Yes, by himself. But,
No.
But that was ours. I think he's just having a nightmare, getting comfortable or something. But anyway, yeah, so that's been our tradition for at least 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Before I met Jackie, we were living in New Jersey. So that was our tradition then. I think it was a little different when we were living in New Jersey because everybody was there. I believe we did have Christmas Eve, but then I do remember my family coming over, my brother and my sister and their significant others and my sister's kids. I believe they came over on Christmas too. Like, we'd have our own Christmas morning and then they'd come over later and we'd have dinner and stuff too.
Oh.
Yeah, but that, once we all moved to Long Island, because I went to school in Long Island, that's where I met Jackie. Funny enough, both from Jersey, met on Long Island. But my mom and my stepdad moved to Long Island as well, mainly because his job was out there, and my mom couldn't live without me. But anyway.
Oh, Janice, I can't wait to see your comments about this.
But yeah, so that's been our tradition, and we love it. Since we're into the now, unfortunately, things are going to be a bit different this year. There's not such great news going on right now, which, we will keep to ourselves, unfortunately. Just with everything going on. The holiday is just not going to be the same. But it's okay. We will move on, and we will overcome, and next year, we will have our traditions right here waiting for us, and we will continue them.
As my mom says, it's just a day.
Right.
It doesn't end everything.
A sock?
No. I put the mitten on him because he's scratching himself, and I didn't want him to. He took it off. That's probably why he was fussing.
Gotcha. So anyway,
yeah,
that's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the actual big day.
The big event.
And this I remember more of when I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
because
totally.
we have lots of video of it.
Yeah.
So, but you can go.
So, Christmas morning, wake up all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to get out there. And the way our house is set up...
That was only my dad and I Christmas morning, by the way.
That's accurate.
My mom and my siblings hate the morning and love sleep. She'd get along with them. Oh, wait, she does already.
So, our Christmas morning was pretty spectacular. So, we get up, and the way my house is set up is you have the three main rooms in the front of the house. So, you have the living room, the kitchen, and the dining room. And then there's a hallway that connects you to all the bedrooms and the basement and the upstairs stairs. So, my mom had this thing where she couldn't sit still. She would switch the rooms overnight. One time the living room would be the dining room. The next month it would be the living room again. She would just drag the furniture across the kitchen floor and change the rooms all the time. So you weren't really sure what room it would be. I'm not saying necessarily she would do it Christmas Eve, but she definitely would do it close to Christmas to try and make room. So what would happen is, especially when Christmas Day was in the living room right by the staircase, as opposed to through the kitchen and down those stairs, which was a completely separate part of the house.
What? I'm confused. I've been in this house, so I don't know what she's talking about anymore.
So when you walk in my front door,
all right,
there's the main room. Right now it's the living room. Sometimes she would change it to the dining room. And if you go straight, there's the staircase. If you make a left, there's the kitchen and then the other room.
We wanted to try and cut this back to a half an hour.
Sorry.
But, yeah.
Anyway, so the stairs were right there. So when we would wake up in the morning, we would all congregate on the stairs because Dad would be out roaming and you can't come past the doorway or else. Because we always had to wait for Mom to wake up. And we'd be, going down there, Mom, get up, it's Christmas, Merry Christmas, get up. Little do we know she was up or she had only 2 hours of sleep because she was up all night doing what she was doing. And she'd finally get up, she'd have her tea, and then we'd be able to open presents. Now, the way my parents do it, they always do it in specific piles. It's not like the movies where you walk up to a tree and there's just presents thrown everywhere and you have to search for your present. No, my mom had specific spaces. This was Kevin's pile, this was Mike's, this was Casey, Kelsey, Jackie. And then Mom and Dad had their piles. So she made sure that each pile was separated enough that we could have our own seating space. And always, every Christmas morning, my dad would have the camcorder, set up on a tripod, ready to record. It didn't matter what room it was in. It didn't matter the year. He always recorded Christmas. The whole day. Not just the morning, but the whole entire day. There's some
as much as he could. I mean,
well, there's
tape
some
only
tapes,
had 2 hours.
There's some tapes, though, that it's like just looking at an empty room because no one turned the camera off.
Sure, but he didn't. It's not like he recorded for like 18 hours straight. It was,
no.
I mean, he condensed the day into 2 hours.
Yeah. We'd have the Yule log on the TV if we had a TV in that room, or if the TV was on. And yeah, just that was the best part about Christmas morning, was coming out there, having our pile, our specified pile. Once we found our pile, we would tell everyone else. Like, if I was the first one out there, I'd be like, all right, this is mine. Kelsey, you're here. Kev, you're there. You know, whoever got there first got to be the coordinator. But it's just, I love Christmas morning.
So for our family, back in the day, my dad was always the first one up. He was a morning person. I don't know if he is now, but he was a morning person, and I guess maybe that's where I get it from, because I was always the second person up, and him and I would just be down there, and he can be a bit on the annoying side, so he would annoy everyone until they got up.
No.
And, the three of them, my mom, my brother, and my sister, would come walking down the stairs and finally get on the couch. And, since I was 10 and 12 years younger than my siblings, I was the one that was pretty much dedicated to handing the gifts out. So my mom would say, okay, give this to David. Okay, give this to Melanie. Okay, give this to your dad. It actually seemed like my mom and dad always went last. But yeah, she had me hand the presents to them, and and again, I don't know if this is something I exactly remember, but we have all these videoed, and it's the same. That's the one thing that's kind of been the same between her and I. My dad recorded everything, not just Christmas. He recorded everything. So we have tons of videos and everything recorded from the mid 80s to pretty much now, because I've taken over that role, but for him up to like 96, 97, and then I took over in like the 2000s. But yeah, I mean, I've handed out all the gifts to everyone, and then I guess my mom would give me mine, whatever the case was. But yeah, that's how our Christmas morning was. It was very intimate. It was just the 5 of us. And, if there were any animals, we had Rusty at one point, Coco before that. But yeah, that was pretty much it. And, our staircase was right next to our family room, which was only dedicated to these type of events. We never used it for anything but that. And we had a big bay window that the tree was in. And I don't know if the gifts were in piles or anything like that. I mean, I would think they were.
She delegated it to you.
Right, so maybe she did have them in piles. I would think
she would.
My mom's pretty organized.
Yeah.
So I would think she probably did, and then she would just, from the pile, be like, this is what I want them to open first. Because, see, so now, carrying over into what we do Christmas morning. So, in the beginning, Jackie and I, I mean, we had very small Christmas mornings by ourselves, and whatever the case. I mean, it's always by ourselves. But, we've moved to so many different places that our Christmas mornings have somewhat been the same, but it's always just in a new space, And what we wind up doing is, her and I'm a morning person. She's a Christmas morning person. So we're always up at the same time on Christmas for the most part. But I'm not my dad. I don't bother her if I'm awake a little early. Usually I'll make tea or hot water or something like that. And we did have these traditional mugs for like the last 6 years or so. Hansel and Leia Organa matching mugs. There's pictures of it and video. So another tradition that I've carried over and I will continue to carry over is I record every Christmas morning. We didn't start it in the beginning, but I think we've been recording it ever since we moved to New Jersey. We originally took pictures, so we have pictures of our previous Christmas mornings, but I started recording Christmas mornings since about 2014. So we have them recorded since then, and I will continue to record them, especially now that Nate's here.
Mm-hmm.
I love that tradition. I love being able to go back in this time capsule and see just things that have changed. Christmas is a perfect time capsule because not only are you seeing your past selves, but you're also seeing what was going on that year.
Yeah.
Or the next year, I guess, because you open gifts and those gifts tell you what this year was. You know, like her and I, there were some Christmases that her parents didn't label correctly on the tapes. So like we'd literally try and figure it out by what gifts people were getting.
Yeah.
Like I remember her and her sister opened up Pokemon Silver and Gold, and you know Jackie's like, "Look, I got silver," and Kelsey's like, "Yeah, I got gold."
She's like,
and we were like, "Okay,
you don't have to play my gold."
Yeah, and we were like, "Okay, so that was 2001 or whatever it is."
Yeah.
I don't know the exact date, but
1999.
Yeah, but like we, you know, that's how we were trying to figure things out. So filming things is amazing. It's something every family should do, and do yourselves a favor and find a way to preserve whatever you film.
Yeah.
And today, even, you know, people don't realize just because you're recording on your phone doesn't mean that stuff is going to be somewhere where you're going to be able to access it forever. Get yourself a hard drive, get yourself a backup hard drive, and put all that stuff on it. Because when we move to the next format in technological advancements, you need to be able to access that footage to be able to move it to the next thing. And if you're going to have it in some cloud or something like that, that's fine. That's great for easy access when you pull out your phone. But if you want these things to be preserved for the next generation, you need to capture them on something that can be transferred somewhere.
Yeah.
And having it in the cloud is not the safest option. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're having trouble with that right now, and I'm trying to prevent that from happening in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, that's a huge tradition for us. And, you know, I mean, Christmas morning, the way Jackie and I do things ourselves, which may change now that we have Nate, but what we usually do is, ladies first, like we do with couple chat. She opens a gift, and I point. So we kind of took over that tradition that you have with your family, where we have separate piles. It's not just thrown under the tree somewhere.
Right.
And I go, okay, open that one, and then she opens it. Oh wow! And then she goes, okay, open that one, and we go back and forth until, you know, we try to get the same amount of gifts. Doesn't always work out, but most of the time we're pretty good with that.
Well, we look at each other's piles under the tree, and we're like, oh, he has 7. Oh my gosh, I have to get 7
Not
now.
This year, though.
We have nothing for each other.
It's a very sad year, and I mean,
But
partially
it's okay.
the pandemic, partially, well, all of the pandemic.
All the pandemic.
Yeah, it's.
But it's worth it because
It
our
is.
son is going to be
He's the best gift
overjoyed.
that we have this year.
Yes, he is our gift for sure.
But yeah, so that's our Christmas morning.
Yeah.
And all right, take it away with the rest of the day. Let's make this as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Ready and go.
Cool.
Lightning round.
So Christmas Day, after we wrap, after we do our thing here, we put our stuff away. And
No. Wait, what? No, talk about your holiday tradition.
Oh yeah. So anyway, so once we open up everything at my parents' house and we do our stockings,
This is her family morning.
my
Back in the day.
Christmas
This
morning
is her
back in the day.
nostalgic, traditional.
So our tradition would be, my mom would say, 2 hours till people get here. Your room better be clean, ladies. There were so many years, and even on tape, where my mom would say, your room isn't clean. If your room isn't clean, you don't get to come out and say hi to your guests. If your room isn't clean, they can't go in your room. If you know, there were so many years where Kelsey and I shared a bedroom, by the way, and we were not the cleanest of people, and we had a hard time keeping it clean once we did clean it. So my mom would always be up our butts about it because our room was right off the main hallway. Like, if our door was open, you could see the mess. And usually when it came to our family parties, our beds were the coat beds. Like, that was the place you put your coat. Well, if our room was a mess, it was no-go. So, you know, that was our thing. Me and Kelsey, we would clean, and we would bring all our new stuff in our room and just play with the new stuff and 10 to clean. Sorry. But it all worked out. We always got to see our guests, and it was fine. We get yelled at anyway, but it's okay. And then, so my mom would still be cooking. The one thing I remember every time, my dad would be peeling apples for the apple pie when we would be watching the Puppy Bowl. Because after the Yule log, the Puppy Bowl comes on. So we'd be sitting there watching the Puppy Bowl, and the AKC would be for Thanksgiving. Never mind. The American Kennel Club Best in Show would be on Thanksgiving, where he would be peeling apples. He does it for both holidays. And he peels apples for the apple pies. My mom puts them all together. As I got older, I would help her with,
Cooking,
and
prepping.
Mainly prepping. I don't get involved with that. I just put the stuff together and let her do the rest. But yeah, I mean, the only tradition.
Well, did you have your family over?
Yes. So we would have our entire immediate and extended family.
This is the huge difference between our family and her family back in the day for me anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, her family came over on Christmas.
All of them. My mom is one of 5 siblings. I am one of 5 siblings. I have 9 cousins, like direct cousins, and they would all come over. And their spouses and whatnot. So it would be a big full house. That's not happening this year.
Na,
But,
na, na, na.
la, 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 la,
Na, na, na. I don't know the lyrics.
Banana,
Banana nanas.
But yeah, so all the family would come over. Usually it was Grandma first. Like, it was the older people in the beginning of the day.
She
Grandma,
didn't get run over by
Patty,
a
because
reindeer.
Patty would leave. Patty would leave after we opened our stockings because she had a stocking with us in our house too. And Patty would leave, go home, bring her gifts home, and then bring over the hors d'oeuvres.
Patty is her aunt, by the way. I don't know if she even mentioned
Did I say
that.
Aunt Patty?
Mm-hmm.
My Aunt Patty.
It's her mom's sister.
Is my mom's next,
Yes.
like, it's the
She's
second one in my mom's
Her mom's the
siblings
oldest.
order. Yeah, my Aunt Patty would come back over with the, the hors d'oeuvres, like the little pickles. And
Shrimp.
the black
Shrimp
olives.
cocktail.
Shrimp cocktail. Oh, she's always on point with that stuff. Always. And she would come over with that. Grandma would come with our presents, and we'd open with Grandma. We always have this thing, even now, when we get a gift, we open it in front of that person. I find that there's some people who just don't do that.
I don't know.
That
We've
I've
always
seen
done
in
that.
but I've seen in movies and stuff that they're just
Movies.
It's just something that I've noticed watching all these Christmas movies. Like, it's not, you don't open presents in front of the person that gives it to you. Like, that's so weird to me. But
Christmas is not about the gifts, Jackie.
no, it's about the people that you're with, and well, no, it's not about the gifts.
Actually, to me, giving something to someone is probably the best feeling.
Absolutely.
Especially because for me, I love surprising people, and I love being nostalgic and just memorable when it comes to gift giving. That, like, I love people's reactions when I give gifts.
Yeah,
That's just my favorite part of the holidays.
no,
Because
absolutely.
it's something special to them. It's not, like, I try to make a connection with the person. I don't just like, hey, this guy wanted a gift card. Hey, this guy wanted a movie. Like, I try to make it personal.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, even in the videos I saw, there's sometimes where it's like, that person's opening a gift, and the person that gave it to them isn't even in the room.
Right.
And, like, I've noticed some people are like, oh, can I open this, like, from across the plane of reality and the video and reality out here? Like, you can't see who they're asking.
Right.
But, I just think it's one of those respectful things. Like, you got a gift from someone, you open it,
They're better
you
about
thank
that
them right
now.
there. Oh, definitely. But,
So the coolest part about her family's tradition, her Christmas tradition, is it has transcended time. I don't know when her parents started this. Probably when Kevin was born, her oldest sibling.
yes.
So they've been doing it since 1981. And that's awesome because, you know, obviously I can't say the same, but I can say the same now because I'm been part of this family since 2008. Whether they thought I was going to stay or not, I'm here, people. I'm still here.
I don't know why.
Wow.
I mean, how does he deal with me?
Yeah, right. And her family.
Yeah,
What? And it's
right? And
but
everybody. I mean,
I love Christmas. And I love that I finally, for me, I have a holiday tradition. I finally have a Christmas day that I can share with someone else, have a family, you know, and now especially we're building our own family. So I can continue to carry that into Nate, and if we have any other children and his children, hopefully, you know, traditions are important, and I'm happy to be able to have one that, you know, it has history.
Yeah.
And it's cool to be able to know the history, and like now I've seen the history.
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing. And I'm glad that we've taken bits and pieces from our family's history and traditions and made them our own as well. And yeah, it's going to be different this year, but we have our memories and we have the future. So
yeah.
But yeah.
On that note, if you are unsure of your plans, or if for some reason you're on the fence, just go the safe route.
Very, very true.
Don't put anybody at risk, especially if you have older relatives that you're not really sure about,
right?
Or if for whatever reason, even if you think it's allergies,
just
fine.
Be safe this year.
Don't do it. Just don't.
Have a safe Christmas without you. That's a little sneak peek, people. Tomorrow, get ready for our new Here Are the Hans video. It's a good one. It's a
our
nice
new infomercial.
Yes, it's a nice Christmassy infomercial that you guys will enjoy. One of our last videos of the year. We are coming up on the end. We do have 2 videos next week. One last actual Here Are the Hans. It would be considered the Here Are the Hans finale. And then our last vlog of the year. So.
Yeah. And again, as Matt mentioned before, we haven't figured out the comments, so we will definitely go through and see what you guys said during the video and respond.
It's actually become kind of a fun thing that we do when we clean up our set here and relax for the night. So we will get back to you.
We will. And we will try
and figure it out.
Thank
you, Instagram folks.
Yes, thank you everyone on Instagram. Thank you everyone, everywhere. Yes. Whichever platform you're on, thank you for
watching. We really
watching.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We you know, we're trying to do this thing, and like we did a few weeks ago, we are upping our quality because we love you guys out there, and we would like to get a bigger fan base. We think we have something to offer, and we hope you guys who have been with us can, you know, spread the Christmas joy, spread the word about Here Are the Hans. You know, that would be the greatest gift anyone could ever give us this year. We would greatly appreciate whatever support you guys can give us. You know, doesn't have to be money, doesn't have to be anything of that sort. Just sharing who we are and, you know, telling people, hey, these guys are really funny and I think they have potential. Check them out, you know. That's really all we can ask for, and we'd appreciate whatever you guys can do.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Happy holidays.
Yes.
I'm Matt.
I'm Jackie. And this is Nate.
And Cal is
back there.
Probably on under the tree or on a chair.
Oh, she's
being
asleep
a cat.
on the chair.
There you go. Anyway. Here are the Hans signing out. And happy Merry Christmas Day.
And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say.
Nice.
Wait. I'm stuck. Bye, guys.